So in this video we are trying to learn what types of knives you have available for your model making. The first thing that you will find are the craft knives or box cutters. Then you will also have the utility knives that are also called box cutter. Last but not least, multi-tools, pen knives, Swiss Army knife, all those kind of knives. And you can also use carving knives. These carving knives are more thought for being used in wood, not for the examples that we are going to do today that are cutting paper and cardboard. But as soon as you have something sharp, you can use it to cut. So concerning the utility knives or the box cutters, these are the most common ones, and it's the ones that we are going to treat on this episode, because basically these two or any other type of knife, you have to be able to sharpen it. We will do a video about sharpening afterwards, so we will put these two aside. And on these ones, you can see that they have different ways of changing the blades. These two are basically the same. The only difference is that in this one you need a screwdriver to open it, and this one you can just open it by hand. To replace the blades is really easy. You can just grab one of these, or the old blade, put it away, then grab one of the new ones that you have stored here, and make sure that the two notches go in the two grooves. Once you're done, you close it, and you have a new blade. Concerning these two, they are exactly the same. I just have them because I will show you the damage that the blade can suffer, so you know when the blade is dull and when it's going to rip off your paper or your cardboard. But basically here you have the option of snapping out a bit of the blade. If you put it to the edge and break it off, and that's it, and you have a fresh new blade. And once you are done with this, it's as easy as removing the whole thing and using a replacement blade. They sell these boxes with 10 blades inside, so you can basically attach it to this knife. Okay, so concerning the blades in these particular models that allow you to retract them and have them in and out as much as you want to only have around one piece out so that the blade is stable enough. Otherwise, if you have it too far away, it can wobble a lot. Now, here we have the piece that I snapped before, and I'm going to try to show you the damage that it has on it. So I'm not sure if it can focus properly, but what you see there is that the tip is damaged. Then you will also see that the edge itself is dented, and when you see that, basically it's going to rip off your paper. So you want to have a crisp, nice edge. Other things that you might see on your blade is some different reflections. I'm not sure if here you can appreciate them, but the tip of this particular piece is not that sharp, so it's reflecting the light in a weird way, and there is also some damage here. Maybe in this one you can also appreciate it better. Well, what you want to do when you reach that point is either sharpen your blade or switch it. Okay, so let's continue then on how to use these knives. So the most common thing that you are going to do for prototyping is either cut cardboard or paper on straight lines. So what you want to do is first cover your surface. You can use one of these polypropylene mats. And this, what basically does, it gives you a surface that is soft for the knife, so the knife doesn't get dull that easily, and then it will protect your table. Obviously, you can cut on a stone table, a marble table, anything like that, but your knife will become dull faster. Then if you have paper, normally you will have a ruler like this, metal. Then you will have your knife. and you can cut on a straight line. Yeah. Now, one of the common mistakes here is when you cut cardboard. Why? Because it's more resistant than paper, so people tend to try to cut it in once. So if you try to do this fast, most probably you're going to exert a lot of force, and especially if your blade is dull, you will suddenly the tension is going to release, the knife is going to come and skate on the ruler, and you are going to cut your finger. So what you want to do here is basically do one stroke. Now it's not cut, but you started cutting. Then do another one. That's the second layer of the cardboard, is where all the waves are. And then you continue softly. Maybe you put the knife a bit further out until you notice that you are cutting the last one. Now I'm cutting the last one. Now it's there. Much safer than just trying to do it in once. The other option you have, instead of these rulers, there are rulers that have some guards. So I have one here. So in this case, if you use this edge, it's more difficult for the knife to come on top, and if it comes on top, there is a groove there, and then it also has to come up this small hill. But in the end, it's about just playing it safe and being careful. So I don't especially recommend using this ruler because it's also big and uncomfortable. It's just do it properly with the small one. Okay, so let's see now basically how to carve with a knife or model with a knife. That is the other thing that you might be doing for prototyping. There are some common mistakes that I want to go through, and the basic safety of the knife. So one of the things that I see a lot is people putting the piece against their belly or their chest and then doing this with a lot of force. The moment that it snaps, the blade is going to go towards you. So you basically want to avoid that. The procedure or the safety procedure to carve this way is basically you have to press your thumb on your part and roll these fingers. So if you see my movement of rolling these fingers, the blade is turning 90 degrees away from the thumb. Yeah? The other common mistake is a lot of people put pressure like this and they basically slide their thumb on the blade. Yeah? So basically what you have to do is roll your fingers to be able to carve whatever you want. You see, now it snapped and it snapped away from my finger. It didn't snap towards my finger. If you are here, the same. I roll my fingers. Yeah, and you see, there is no issue. I can model no problem. Now, what is happening on this one? Yeah, sometimes people are cutting this one. They just cut here. It's completely fine. But then they come to a smaller part, and instead of cutting here, they are cutting here. If I'm cutting here, if the blade snaps again, I can cut myself here. Or sometimes you are grabbing like this, you can cut yourself there. So that's for the thumb control movement. The other option you have is just carve away from you. Yeah? So you are never putting the knife towards any part of your body. The last thing you can do is you can use gloves. They are available in the market, safety gloves, that they are either Kevlar or polypropylene. They are covered. They are not like resistant to everything. So if I, for example, right now stab here the glove, I will break it. If I cut like really hard like this, I will cut it. But it's something that will help you protect yourself. I'm not really fan of gloves because sometimes they have some problems. This one, for example, is a bit too loose, so it can actually generate more problems than help. But it's true that if you are afraid of knife or if you don't follow the procedures that I just showed you properly, these are a good safeguard to avoid injuries.